Hello, welcome back to Ask Allison. Here is today's question. Could you share your thoughts on developing a personal professional website and a private practice website? I've noticed that a few clinical social workers have done this and then wonder why more have not. Is it needed? Would the social worker have to establish himself or herself as an additional LLC outside of their private practice if they wish to promote themselves, services, products on their own personal professional website as a speaker, author, etc.? Thank you so much. So I love this question. I want to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring us. It depends on if the speaking or the writing is covered by your license. So like, are you speaking or writing about clinical issues that would be covered? Or are you speaking and writing about something non-clinical, right? Like if I'm writing about business consultation, for instance, that's not under the same auspices as my license. And it also depends on what the end goal is. So if your license doesn't cover the work that you plan to do, meaning it's not psychoed or something that would feel like continuing ed for colleagues, then definitely consider another LLC. Anything I would say like coaching related, business advice, etc. Discuss that with an attorney who is well-versed in your professional license before you try to bring it under the umbrella of your practice. The attorneys that you can talk through your malpractice insurance do know this information, but often, well, some of them do, but often they're not going to really consult on this because it's not the kind of pressing liability issue that the insurance companies are willing to pay them to talk about. And I say somebody who's well-versed with your professional license because a lot of people, a lot of attorneys who aren't familiar with what our license allows us to do and doesn't allow us to do will be like, well, yeah, why not? So find somebody who knows what they're talking about, basically. Some folks want to have a private practice on the side and have their speaking or writing be their primary gig. So that should definitely be its own business as well. Your practice info would really clutter that messaging up. Like if Brene Brown had a side private practice and mentioned it on her Brene Brown website, we'd all be like, okay. I mean, that practice would stay full, no problem. And so will yours, but you do not need to put it on your professional speaking website. I think it would be okay to link to your professional speaking website or writing website, potentially depending from your private practice website, possibly. But I don't link to Abundance from my private practice website because it's just two very different clientele. The people who want to read your book or watch your talk also aren't necessarily the same people you would want to see in therapy or that would want to see you in therapy. So depending on your topic, they may be one and the same, absolutely. But like I was saying, like I don't mention my practice information on my Abundance website, right? Because that's two different audiences. Now, to answer your question about why so few social workers are developing their personal brand for speaking, etc., is that most social workers I see in private practice are more content with just like hanging out with their practice. Some of us are like, we get business bored and we want to do other things, or we have things we're really passionate about that don't always align with just the clinical work. And that's great for us. And it's also great for the people who are like, ooh, I'm loving my practice and this is good. So I hope that helps. If you have questions for Ask Allison, please DM me over on Instagram where I'm abundance_practice_building.